What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be breaking down Chandon Sullivan, new cornerback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Signed a one-year deal a little while ago. Wanted to break down some film of him. The Patriots game was probably the best game that I've seen him play. He was huge in the fourth quarter, and I'll kind of show you guys a bunch of the reps why. But clipped about a dozen plays or so. Going to go over those just before we get started. Please make sure to drop a like, drop a comment, drop a sub, all that stuff is greatly appreciated on my end. So let's get into it, man. Just as a precursor, in case I accidentally say Fangio instead of Donatel, this is the Fangio system that I'm sure a lot of you guys, if you're watching this channel, are a little bit familiar with. The two high pre-snap presentation, but Donatel is from the Fangio tree. So a lot of the checks and stuff, at least what I know of the defense is, really just relating it back to what I know about Fangio. So put this play on here. Going to get a 3-by-1. They're going to be throwing a screen out to the wide side. Really just like how he attacks his block, with physicality. He's pretty long corner, even though he's not overly, tall or big, but he's got long arms. And you kind of see that show up sometimes when he's attacking blockers. So like the physicality there, little shed, and nice stop. So this game starts off a little bit bumpy, in my opinion, for him. But, like I said, he played extremely well in the fourth quarter. But I'll kind of go over some of the reasons why. And I don't want to make it seem like, I'm picking on him, either. But, this Vikings defense, they were really, really bad last year against the pass. And it wasn't all his fault. But these are some of the reasons why, just beyond personnel, in my opinion, that they struggle. And it's really just miscommunication errors all over the place, man. For a defense that started this many veterans, it's hard to watch at times. But basically, what they're playing here, they get a 3-by-1 set from the Patriots. They're playing what's called an area check, in my opinion. And basically, what this is a triangle over these two receivers in here, right? So Sullivan is responsible for the first receiver that breaks out. The inside linebacker here, he's responsible for the first receiver of these two that breaks in. And then this safety is responsible for the first receiver vertical. So basically, they're reading the patterns of these two receivers. So what happens is the outside receiver goes vertical. Sullivan carries him, even though the safety is already there to pick him up. Instead of reading that this tight end is chipping and then releasing into the flat. And what happens is we end up with three guys on one receiver, and Henry ends up slipping into the flat, and there's nobody over there. The inside linebacker's out leveraged, and it ends up in a big play. So a lot's been made about, the talent that the Vikings had or didn't have on defense last year, but, they just didn't communicate well. That's why you see so many coverage busts all over the place. I wanted to put this in there really because it's the same exact play, just a couple plays later. 1st and 10 in the high red zone area. There again, with the area check. Kind of get something similar with this number 2 wide receiver going vertical. He does a good job passing him off to the safety and then breaks outside on the outbreaker to Henry. So I think I showed this from the other angle too, but you can see Mac Jones have to pull this ball down once he breaks. Of course, there's pressure in his face as well, but that's how it's supposed to look. A lot of teams, especially the Fangio system, has 3-4 different checks that they can use against trips, bunch, 3-by-1 sets to help them cover stuff a lot easier. So, like this play out of the slot. This is, I believe, cover 9 match. So cover 9 is like basically what they call weak rotated cover 3. So he's playing outside leverage, smooth pedal, opens up his hips, stays on top. This is basically just a clear out from his receiver, so he's not really ever going to get the ball here. He's more of just an alert, but they run the dagger underneath him. That's a good throw for Mac Jones. Couple plays here in the red zone I wanted to go over. Nice job defending this out route right here. Errant throw from Jones. I'm guessing there's some type of miscommunication on this route combinations. It's really funny to watch the Patriots offense and the Vikings defense at the same time because there's so many guys with their hands up after the play because they don't know what's going on. But I do like how he's playing outside leverage here. Takes that leverage step, settles his feet, Nice break on the ball. You know, even if that's completed, that's only going to be like a 3, 4 yard gain. But one of the things I wanted to point out is just it's baffling to watch this defense communicate with each other before the snap. But you notice how he's playing like inside or outside leverage here, excuse me. Watch these two players right here. This dude has his eyes over here. Harrison Smith has his eyes over here. So if Aguilar did want to break inside, he has no help. He thinks he has help because he's playing outside leverage, but he doesn't actually have help. So it's just it's really a mess of a defense. All right, so next play is gonna be 3rd and 6 in the red zone. This is gonna be cover three, another fire zone blitz from the Vikings. Sullivan ends up getting matched up with the number 2 here, which is Hunter Henry. Couple things here. Um, just in general on why I think he lost the rep. So let's talk a little bit about his responsibility on the play. So they're playing match carry delivered. So if he goes outside, Sullivan's going to have him. He has to match that route. If he goes vertical, he has to carry him. If he goes inside, then he needs to deliver him to the mic. So Henry kind of comes off a little slow, trying to manipulate the pace a little bit, breaks outside, crosses his face. He starts his rep with outside leverage. He does initially take a little bit of a leverage step to maintain that. But what I don't like is like he just keeps getting depth, keeps getting depth. I mean, this is a tight end in the low red zone. He's not really a threat to run by you. There's no space down there. So I would like to see him close this space and try to reroute and get his hands on him, use that length to kind of disrupt the timing of the route. Because right now, the blitz doesn't get home, and that's part of the problem as well. If you send a blitz and you don't get there, you're putting your secondary in a bad position. But because Mac has so much time and he's staring him down, right? Staring him down. I mean, he's patting the ball back there, patting the ball, but Sullivan doesn't ever get his hands on him. So he basically just has a free access out route right here. This is like 7-on-7 type stuff. And an inaccurate throw on top of that still ends up in a touchdown. I think his footwork on this, like he crosses his feet right here instead of just planting and driving. I think that's a little bit quirky and kind of messes a little bit with his break. I do like how he attacks this and plays this like chest to chest because he's not really in phase, so he doesn't need to be looking back for the ball. Uh, this ball is terrible. It's late and inside. So when he goes chest to chest here, I mean, you'd like to see him try to rip out that ball and play through the hands on the way to the ground, but it's just a tough rep in general. But I think he definitely could help himself by just not giving up so much space and just managing his space a little bit better. But yeah, that's a tough one. This is really where he starts to pick it up, in my opinion, is the fourth quarter. He made 3 or 4 plays in the fourth that, in my opinion, helped, them secure the win in this game. So we get trips to his side of the field. They motion the running back. This creates what's called like a 4 strong look. Looks like they're playing some type of Tampa, some 2 deep shell. I don't really actually think he's responsible for the flat here, but he reads it out really quickly. Just appreciate, the quickness to get out there, but also come into balance, getting his feet underneath him and not overrunning the play. I've seen Stevenson make a lot of DBs in this situation look really silly. It's a really nice open field tackle for him right there. This is where it really starts getting interesting, man. Like the last 3 plays that he makes in this game are all what I would call stops. He really turned up a little bit. I like the fact too that it came right after he gave up that touchdown because as a cornerback, you got to have that next play mentality, and I appreciated how he kind of bounced back from that play. So pre-snap here, he's playing like outside leverage, but watch after the post snap. I think that this is film study more than anything because he seemed like he definitely knows what plays coming here. He's got his eyes in the backfield, but he jumps inside on this kind of slant or glance route. Nice break on the ball. He's on that upfield shoulder. On an RPO, it's one read and go, or you got to kind of spike it. But a really nice job, this isn't going to go down the stat sheet, but he breaks his play up. If Jones does throw this ball on the break right here, this ball's picked. So really nice coverage right there. Forces a throwaway. This is 3rd and 7. A couple plays later. This is another fire zone rep, I believe. Yep. So basically playing cover. This is cover 3. It's cover 3 match. Does a good job, not giving too much cushion. But also, I think there was a lot of times, especially late in the game, that he seemed to start really keying on some of these releases. But you look at, he's breaking really at the same time or before, this slot receiver is running this slot cross with the dig coming behind it. Really good anticipation there. And I'll show you guys from the end zone angle, but that's where Mac wanted to go with the football. But a really good drive on that shoulder to take that away. All right, last play that we're going to go over here is the last play of the game, I believe. 4th and 16. The Vikings are basically playing prevent at this point, but they're playing what's called box rules against this bunch. And I'll kind of show you guys how it ends up playing out. But nice job by Sullivan there, staying on top of that vertical route. And what I mean by box, so you get a bunch set right here with 3 receivers. They're basically just playing 4 over 3, right? So the way this plays out is they send Peterson down. This inside linebacker is going to take under and underneath, under and in. Peterson's going to take under and out. He's going to take the first deep out. And then Harrison Smith or Cam Bynum, whichever safety this is going to take the first deep in. So you kind of see how this plays out. Peterson's going to run kind of with this sail to the sticks. And then that leaves Sullivan, to kind of stay on top. I believe that's Aguilar, but really nice job here. Just making sure you understand the situation, right? Like they got to throw the ball down the field. Does a good job, staying on top of the route. This is a really poorly thrown football too, so that's obviously always interesting as a DB. Kind of sends you into a little bit of a panic when the ball is so poorly thrown. Really, it's just a kind of a battle to get who gets there first. But a good job, nonetheless, staying on top. If that ball is thrown accurately, he's got a good shot at an interception. So just kind of watch it again. Like I said, man, four plays in the 4th quarter, I think I would, give him credit for a stop. And I thought that was really good, especially, after giving up that touchdown. That shows, good resolve. Like I said, the ability to bounce back, having that short-term memory. So I like that a lot. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought of the video. Let me know what you guys think of Chandon Sullivan. Just my thoughts on Sullivan in general, man. Like I've watched a lot of the Vikings defense. Like I said, really too much for my liking because this defense is atrocious to watch, to be honest with you. But my thoughts on Sullivan, I think that he may be okay in a better situation with more talent around him, and he may be serviceable. But I haven't really seen anything on film that gets me overly excited to the point where I think that he's, necessarily the answer to the Steelers' slot cornerback issues, like long term. So I think he could be serviceable in the right spot. We'll see how he does in the Steelers system. What the Steelers run defensively, as you guys probably can tell by this video, is completely different from what he ran with the Vikings and different from what he ran with the Packers before that. So completely new system. We'll have to see how he does in training camp, how he does in the preseason. But he's got a good opportunity ahead of him. Arthur Millette got released. They're working Patrick Peterson a little bit in the slot. We'll see kind of how that rotation plays out. But like I said, it's up to him to, kind of take advantage of it. And I'm interested to see, how the summer plays itself out. So if you guys stay to the end of the video, I really appreciate you guys. Again, just drop me a like, drop me a comment. Make sure you guys sub to the channel on your way out. And I will check you guys next time. Peace and love.